And good morning. It's Jay Cleveland Payne. That's who I am. That's who I intend to stay for a long, long time. This is Thursday, March 31st, 2022. Only one day to call that day. And what you're seeing right now is things you might have heard. These are going to be, in the next few minutes, 5 news stories vetted by the vast people of the wiseness of the internet and people like you, as some stories that we deemed as conversational stories that are worth talking about. They may not be the main headline news, and yes, Russia is sucking up pretty much all the air from all the news broadcasts. Everybody has to cover that because it's a big, big deal. These are some stories that you may have missed in your main news coverage because, as we like to call ourselves here, we aren't your main source of news, so we're not going to give you that big stuff. We call ourselves more your third source, tertiary. You like your news side piece, if you will. We are there for you when you really, really need us, but we know you have to go home at some point in time. But we're going to give to you, like we said, 5 news stories vetted by you all along the lines with some other information you might not have heard to use for your water cooler talk. More information about how all the stuff works at thisistheconversationproject.com. Plus, we'll explain it all towards the end. So stay with us. It's going to be worth it. I guarantee. Let's get into the first news story for this morning, that being this one right here. Yesterday, we talked about Alex Jones and the fines and the restitution and the apologies he didn't need to make to get himself off the hook. Today's headline, number one story for the last 30 hours or so. Alex Jones faces fines for skipping Sandy Hook's deposition. APnews.com giving us the straight dope on that one. So yes, Alex Jones can get off not so much scot-free, but, in the ordeal that is Alex Jones being a monster to the Sandy Hook families by showing up, doing his deposition, and offering up what said he was going to do. He was going to pay the fines. He was going to do the apologies, and the fines were big money to every single person that were in the suit against him. Except he didn't show up for court, nor his lawyers or any of that stuff like that. We will see how this thing blows over. Or blows over is probably not what's going to happen. It's probably going to get even bigger and blow up more. But we'll see how this one goes, as Alex Jones was literally at the finish line to this story and then pulled his victory from the jaws of defeat by literally not just being a man about it and doing the thing. Story number 2 this morning. Eric Church cancels San Antonio concert to attend Final Four. CountryNow.com, who I still have no idea why they exist, but they do, gave us this headline and gave us in the aggregate what to go for. And is it a big deal? Probably not, but we put it out there as a teaser story. We'll explain that in a bit as well. You guys wanted to chat this one up. This was a very high in the range. So here we go. Eric Church had a San Antonio concert scheduled for the 2nd. That is coming up this Saturday. What's happening this Saturday? Final Four. That's in New Orleans. Much like me when I decided to skip finals and go to New Orleans for a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Eric Church has a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go watch some great basketball in New Orleans. Actually, he probably doesn't have. It's probably not once in a lifetime, but it just so happened the stars aligned that he could take off one night and go watch a game in New Orleans and then keep on watching for Monday, I'm sure, for the actual championship game. So if you have tickets to the San Antonio concert, he says he's sorry. He's never done this. He's a little bit embarrassed. He's never did this like anything like this before. But in this case, Eric Church is playing hooky, and he'll take care of you once he gets back around. I guess, he's a big time music star, so we'll see what happens. He played in Little Rock last weekend, so we got him, and you don't. So there. Story number 3 this morning. Academy begins disciplinary procedures against Will Smith. HollywoodReporter.com on this one. We have talked all week. This is Thursday, every single day, a little bit about Will Smith and Chris Rock and a slap heard around the world. Now, what we were finding out, that, there were rumors of the Academy folks trying to figure out how to get rid of Will in the middle of the ceremony. Apparently, it was as simple as asking Will to leave and him saying no. So that apparently did happen. They asked him to actually leave and he did not go. So now the Academy is working on actual disciplinary proceedings against Will Smith and his slap on live television. Whether this means not being able to show up for the Oscars, not being able to be nominated, not having this statue or other statues taken away, we don't know. They didn't do anything in real time, and he ended up winning the best male actor for the year in that category for King Richard. And of course, people who did not know it existed or did not care to deal with the Williams sisters in fictionality are now going to see King Richard. So more money to all those folks. And as we said yesterday, Chris Rock tickets are skyrocketing. People want to go see Chris Rock really, really bad to see what he talked about. He actually talked about a little bit in his stand-up act last night. That's not today's story. Today's story is the Oscars, or the Academy, should say, looking at disciplinary actions, real proceedings against Mr. Will Smith, Big Willie, as he is called sometimes. So his raps tell us he's called that sometimes. Next story is this one. Bruce Willis has aphasia and is stepping away from acting, family reveals. But bear with me while I read from my other monitor over here. This is coming from people.com. And what aphasia is, which I always butcher because it happens, it's a pretty common thing, but I always butcher it, is according to the Mayo Clinic, it robs you of your ability to communicate and can affect your ability to speak, write, and understand language, both verbal and written. The group also adds ignition typically occurs suddenly after a stroke or a head injury, but it can come gradually from a slow-growing brain tumor or disease that causes progressive permanent damage, degenerative. Now, we joked early in the week, or last week, I should say, when we talked about actors who were doing all these direct-to-video stories, and Bruce Willis actually having produced 11 that have come out in the last 3 months. It's only 3 months in a year, and 11 on IMDb are listed as new movies by Bruce Willis. We may have some idea of why Bruce Willis is being so extra productive. We talked about actors who needed money, and they worked up a whole bunch of them, and now we're talking about an actor who may need some money, or basically knows he's going to step away. He is not retiring, we're being told. The word specifically is stepping away, because Bruce Willis expects to have some sort of healing, if you will, some sort of resolution to this syndrome, to this condition, and he'll come back to do more things. So our hearts and our prayers are going out to Bruce Willis, his real family, his extended family, the people who love him as an actor, and yippee-ki-yay to the cowboy. Hopefully he'll be back doing really, really big time stuff. Hopefully not just the small Netflix stuff that seems to pop up all over the place. And a final story vetted by you, Elliot Page's character to come out as transgender in season 3 of The Umbrella Academy. NBCChicago.com, it gives us this one as a source. If you hadn't figured out yet, if you've been living under a rock or just don't really care, Elliot Page used to be Ellen Page. Ellen Page, the rising star actor in the Academy community. They're not trying to boycott her, who came out as gay a few years ago, and that was a big freaking deal for some people. Then she decided she came out as transgender, and that was a big deal. And then she had assignment surgery to turn herself from Ellen to Elliot. Elliot Page is a star of the Umbrella Academy. Seasons 1 and 2 was I can't even say it. Ellen Page was there, and season 2 went from plot where their character realized that she was homosexual and was having a relationship in the 60s in a time when that was not all that keen. Turns out in the future, or season 3, they're going to expand on the Sparrow Academy, a different sort of academy from the Umbrella Academy they're in, and Elliot Page, or the character there, will be deemed as transgender. They're going to basically turn fiction into fact and make her character written into a her or him. I'm confusing that, so apologies that one, into the continuation of the story. Good for them, making it all work out. Good for you guys for not getting all cheeky on it. And if you want to get cheeky on it, then hey, it's none of your business. Just don't watch a Netflix show. But this is a big deal for folks, story-wise line, actor-wise line, and essentially for people in the transgender community. Elliot Page's character is going to come out as transgender because Elliot Page is transgender, formerly being Ellen Page, as we know. Quick commercial break. Let's talk about Zenni Optical. Go to thisisaconversationproject.com/Zenni and get a great deal from Zenni Optical. They offer up the best pairs of glasses ever. My pair of glasses, my brand new glasses right here, which apparently my eyes aren't working very well this morning with them. Having some issues, putting things in places. These are for, I'm nearsighted, so I normally will look at computers without them. But if I have big screens, I'm watching TV, I have to wear my glasses. If I'm reading documents, I have to wear my glasses. If I'm doing things like that, I have to have on my glasses. And guess what? Zenni Optical offers me up great glasses. Those frames right there cost $6.95, and I bought the same frames for about 3 or 4 years, replacing them with other glasses and having extra pairs of glasses around because the frames are so low. Because the frames are low, I can spend more money on the tech, the lenses. The lenses aren't Coke bottle thick. They're great lenses. They also have tinting to them. You can get them in bifocals and trifocals. You can get blue blocker technology. You can get transitions. You can get a great pair of glasses for a very, very low price. And I believe they work, or they work for me. So that's what's important. So you can get your best new pair of glasses at a great price and use your HSA to take care of it as well. Visit our website. This is theconversationproject.com. So that's ZENNI. Visit this is theconversationproject.com/Zenny. This is an affiliate link, so that's how we pay the bills for the Conversation Project and More Better Media. But it costs you nothing extra. And like I said, these are the best pair of glasses you're going to find for the best prices around. Check them out. You will see. Now, we're going to go right now to our teaser story of the morning. This is a story that you can help bring into focus, talk more about in the future, that being tomorrow's show. Lots of tabs going on, little technology issues as well. It's been a morning. So this story right here is one that you get a chance to basically vote up coming up in the next couple of minutes. Here it comes. Once the button figures it out, there we go. California Task Force votes to limit reparations to slave descendants. There's your headline. If you want to talk more about California, this was a 5-4 vote, by the way. We can go deeper into the story if you choose this to be something that you'd like to talk about. That's why I say this is up to being vetted by you, the democratization of the news sources we have here in the Conversation Project. The whole purpose of the Conversation Project. You can see if this is what you want to chat about simply by going to our feeds and voting it up. Now, what does all that actually mean? It means this. We have a couple places we want you to visit here across the internet dealing with the Conversation Project. And that is not that. We skipped the wrong slide. There we go. Things you might not have heard. It has a main website at thisistheconversationproject.com. Learn more about the conversation, how to get in on it, why we think you guys can pick the news a little bit better, at least conversational news things to talk about, than what's being put on TV. Yes, the it leads is a true statement because news agencies want people in there. And oddly enough, since news is 24 hours, it's not so much waiting for the 6 o'clock news and getting all the details. It's being able to give whoever shows up at whatever time the mainline drug of the top story. And that's why the top story stays the top story for 3 or 4 days. We'll tell you about what we do about it and how we conversate with you on this. The feeds are on Facebook and Twitter. Every 50 minutes, we post a news story, and you can engage with it, like it, love it, hate it, share it, do all your social media lovelies with it. And as you do, it gets a higher engagement score. The higher score engagement it gets, the higher chance it gets. We talked about it every morning at 5 a.m., weekday mornings at 5 a.m. We pull the numbers for Tuesday through Thursday. It goes from the previous basically 28 to 30 hours. For Mondays, we give you from Friday to Monday. And on Tuesday through Thursday, we pick the top 15 in engagement, give you 5 stories, sometimes 6 to take on your water cooler day. Facebook.com/This is the Conversation Project and Twitter.com/TH_conversation. And YouTube, to follow us on the YouTube official channel. If you're watching this on some other place or watching a clip, this is the conversationproject.com/YouTube is our link to the YouTube version of this. Of course, the Facebook feed is the same link for you get this on Facebook every single morning. Today we're running late, but normally about 40 after 20 minutes till 5 in the morning. We give you these stories to get your day started so you can watch it and roll on and talk to folks at the job place, if you still go to the job place. Today is March 31st, and birthdays for the day. Christopher Walken turning 79. You guys know he's arrived because people are still keeping an eye on folks like Christopher Walken and the things he does and the weird things he does. Gabe Kaplan from Welcome Back, Kotter, still alive, 78 years old today. And Al Gore, former vice president and the guy who invented this thing you're watching right here. He kind of said, even though he didn't, he's still alive. He's 74 years old. I wonder what he's up to these days. Obviously not politicking very much, but he did invent the internet, so we have that to thank him for as well. It's also World Backup Day. This is one of the more benign, I'd say, days in the national calendar that are out there today. But today is a day to think about backing up your stuff, to think about backing up your computers, your phones, backing up your actual real stuff, making copies and putting things away. Today is a day to focus on backing up all that important data information that you have out there and making sure you have a safe copy of it somewhere out there. One more thing you might not have heard for today. A study recently said that troubled marriages may speed in decline in health that comes with age. So this may be a big part of the sort of reemergence of younger feeling people that are older, if you will. There's a lot of people who are bucking the trend of early divorces and just basically waiting it out for a long, long times and later in life getting divorced, and they're finding themselves feeling a whole lot better from leaving from a troubled marriage. If you find yourself in a situation where your health is being feeling like inclined by the person you are spoused to, something to consider. I would suggest try to fix the marriage, but I'm just a dude talking to you in a blue box on the internet. What do I know? If I knew anything, I'd be out there telling you real stuff, which I think I just did. Thursday, March 31st, 2022. Today has been, at least in the box here, things you might not have heard. Thank you so much for people who've joined us in the live stream or who are watching this thing in the future, which is essentially 5 minutes from turning this thing off. Thank you so much for joining live or in the future. Drop a comment on when you're watching, where you're watching from, and what we can do to add to the flavor, if you will. Big ups to my boy Josh out there, keeping the streets safe out there for us out there. Keep on doing what you do, brother. And we'll do this again one more time this week, see what stories we'll make it for tomorrow. Will we talk about reparations? Probably not. That's a subject that people really don't get into. But, the internets and the algorithms, I don't choose news. I just throw them out there. You tell me what we're talking about. And you can tell me that tomorrow when we do things you might have heard for Friday. Thank you.